Well, good morning, afternoon, middle of the night, whatever it is. Welcome back to the Church Street Podcast. My name is Grant. I'm one of the pastors here at First Grapevine Methodist Church. And yes, we really are on Church Street. I am joined by, we'll get to our very special person we're going to be talking to in a moment. But first, I'm joined by Paul Bielss, our production manager, the person who is the expert in video and audio, and also helps me.
I just fake it a lot. That's all I'm going to say.
You're my personal Jedi master, helping with a lot of writing, especially here lately. Just so grateful for you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
All right.
I have a kitchen back. 6 weeks without a kitchen, and I have a kitchen back. So,
well, congratulations. What's the first thing you're going to cook in the kitchen? Or lovely Rebecca is.
Well, she's having to watch dogs down in Crowley right now for our daughter.
Yes,
she'll be back next week. So we'll have something next week. So
what do you want?
Well, I mean, it's getting.
He's scared to say this here because she listens.
Yeah, right.
And what you know what happens on Sunday, right? And that is, it's the first day of fall. Okay. And so fall.
What happened on Sunday?
No, it's
past tense.
I thought it was this coming Sunday.
This isn't going up.
I'm sorry. That's exactly right. What happened this past Sunday?
Yeah.
Basically, so that to me means chili and rice.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think
we're
it's
in Texas.
Exactly. I know it's going to be more of a hope that we can have chili and rice.
Okay. Well, I guess we will have seen what the weather has done.
Yes.
We're traveling through space and time right now.
That's right.
Yeah, we shall see. All right. Well, thank you for being here with us. But
thank you.
We'll move on again to the star of the show, or one of the stars of the show. Pastor Zach is out today. He's got some stuff he's working on, so he can't be with us. So we're not going to continue the series of questions that we started last week. If you missed that, please go back and listen to episode 1 of the Church Street Podcast. That was a lot of fun, very insightful. I enjoyed recording it. I went back and listened to it. It was fantastic. So we're going to...
And just kind of on that, we are no longer putting them out on Friday. We're going to shoot for Tuesday to Wednesday, so it's going to be earlier in the week.
Like and subscribe.
Please do.
To all of our channels, and therefore you won't miss a moment. So we're going to do things a little differently here on episode 2. We're just going to talk to Keva about a little bit about her life. Just some fun get-to-know-you questions.
Surprise questions.
Yeah. There's exactly. So, dear listener, Keva does not like having to go into a situation where she doesn't know exactly what she has to talk about.
Well, I don't mind it sometimes, but I'm not crazy about knowing that you and Paul were the ones putting together the questions.
You don't trust us. She doesn't trust us.
I trust the Lord. In God we trust.
But in Grant and Paul, I don't know.
Yeah, that's questionable.
Well, I mean...
how long has she been here? It seems like she's been here a long time.
It has not even been a month.
Isn't she wise?
Very wise.
Well, these are actually all Paul questions. These are ones that...
that's even scarier.
And I tell you what, let's wait to give the history of this till the end.
Okay.
All right, but these are Paul questions that he and I have talked about many times over the years. Yes. We kind of revisited these same questions. So if you want to throw one back at us, you're welcome to try. We may ignore you, but you can try. So, but really, we just want to get to know you. And some of these, what I like about these questions is they sound kind of simple, but yet can lead into a better understanding of who's answering them. So, name 3 people, living or past, that you would invite to a dinner party, and why for each one?
Oh, I love these kind of questions. Okay, let's see. Wow. Let's see. Well, the first one that popped in my head, and this is kind of random, Mrs. Burroughs. She was my English teacher when I was a senior, and My mother was a high school counselor, but my mother used to describe her as the most beautiful woman ever. But when my mother would say that, I'd think, are you serious? Because I'd look at this old, wobbly old lady, and she, on the outside, she was not attractive. But you got to know her, and she was absolutely one of the most beautiful people inside, just because the way that she treated us as youth and, the things that she taught us and everything else. And
So are you saying that beauty is not always on the outside?
oh, and yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. She was just, in fact, today she still is probably one of the most beautiful people I've ever known, because she just was so loving and caring and everything else. And all I had her for was, senior year, but and she passed away not long after that. But yeah, I would invite her as one of them. So there's one of mine.
What's a particular book or something that you read? What's just one thing that you remember from that class?
Chaucer's Tales.
All right.
Yeah, but it wasn't necessarily what we were learning, grammar wise, or the literature and so forth. It was more. It was just her attitude of how she treated us, and I know we were smart aleck young people, and especially our senior year, and especially the last part of our senior year.
Senioritis.
Oh, yes. And that's when you think you know everything. And so, we weren't exactly the best, but yet she was really good with all of us. And I think she set us in a good position to move forward, to be kicked out of the nest and go forward. And so, yeah, she had a huge influence. I know teachers have a huge influence on kids in the first place. And I think as far as adults, we need to watch ourselves, because kids are always watching, and they learn more from our actions than what we say or what we try to tell them to do. But she was one of those that you could watch her, and just watching how she would treat all the kids. It wasn't like she picked her favorites, but she loved all of us. And so she would be the first one I'd invite. And that was just the first one that popped in my head. So
That's
I know
a
I've got
great
two
answer.
more.
All right.
But I'm going to turn it back on y'all and ask for at least one that each of you would invite.
One of the comic geniuses of my time was Robin Williams, and everything that I've ever watched of his just has me in a good mood every time I watch it. We were talking, Leonard, who's our finance person here, we were talking about Mork and Mindy, his first TV show, and how they had to have 4 censors that had different languages, each one of them, just so that they so that they could catch all of the nuances of him speaking in other languages and not being censored. So they had 4 different censors on that.
How fascinating!
And so he and his quick wit.
Yeah, and he would just make up his lines.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't give him a script.
Exactly.
They just knew he would.
And so if he came to my dinner party, I know it would be a time that I would remember forever.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
That's a really good one. Can I invite him to mine too? Or can I come to yours?
Definitely.
Wow,
Definitely.
that's a really good one.
That is.
Last time Paul and I talked about this, I thought about different groups of people, as in there are these people I'd love to see, and then maybe a different group for a different purpose.
Right.
But if I just have to mention one today that was on my mind as I've been writing and thinking about stuff, he's still alive. The author Paget Powell, who wrote The Interrogative Mood, Edisto, You and Me. I know you. So I know, Paul, you're aware of at least The Interrogative Mood. That's the book that's entirely questions.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
You've talked about that before. And
yeah, he means a lot to me, but I realize he's not a wildly popular author. He should be. His works are fantastic, but they're really influential on my style of writing and speaking, and it's meant a lot to me for the past good Lord, 10, 15 years. I'd like to invite him to dinner and pick his brain about some things. And actually, even this week, I thought about writing him a letter just to say, hey, I want you to know your work means a lot to me, a perfect stranger out here, and just kind of write down, I read this book while going through this in my life, and this is what it meant to me, and it helped me reclaim some of my creativity when I was really struggling. So I think that's what I'm really getting at, is that's a lot of what you and I do, what I bring to it. I'm looking at Paul when I say this. What I bring to it is heavily influenced by this one writer. So there you go.
Cool.
Not as personal of an answer as hers, and probably not as interesting as yours, but there you go. All right, so give us two more.
Oh, okay. So my next one, I think would be an author too, but also a preacher, Mark Batterson. Have you read Circle Maker and If and All in One? And maybe not as deep theologically as some others, but he has this creative way of taking history and then turning it around and writing about it and turning and looking at it from a Christian point of view. And so I guess I've just been interested in some of his work and how he looks at some things. So I think he'd be an interesting one to talk to. So
Good answer. You got one more?
I'm going to ask y'all for your second one.
She's going to make us work.
I am.
Okay.
I know that you talked about your mother a couple of weeks ago. My second one would be my mother. And I always think of that. There's a country song that says, one more day. If I just had one more day, one more hour. I would love for her to be able to see where my kids are and see how far that they've come and where I am now also. I think that she would be very proud of me, but I also would love for her reaction to those things.
That's neat. Yeah. Very good answer.
I didn't get to know them, but I think both of your parents would be very proud of you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
My second one would be Dr. Jim Pledger. I mentioned him last week on the podcast, so he gets 2 shout-outs in a row.
Wow.
And I would have dinner with him because, and not just because I miss him, which I do, but I would just say, oh my goodness, I need your help with some stuff I'm working on, just like we used to. In fact, a long time, several years while I was working here, I would call him or I'd go by the church and we'd go to a classroom with a whiteboard and just be like, all right, help me work through this. Help me out here. And so that's another one I was thinking, man, I wish I could just pick up the phone, but I can't. So that would be who I would invite as well.
Cool. Okay. Well, then my third one, actually, I was thinking about kind of in that same line, Billy Abraham.
Oh, yeah.
Just incredible guy. In fact, he was part of the reason that I went to Perkins Seminary. I'd met him on a Saturday at some other event. Someone introduced me to him, and this was when I knew I was called to the ministry, but didn't quite know the next steps. And he invited me to come on the next Monday and sit down and visit with him there at Perkins at SMU, and went to his office and talked to him, and he talked to me about seminaries and talked about the calling on my life and everything else. And it was just amazing to have someone, he's an incredible theologian, but just to have him talking to me about my next steps. And then he said, well, you need to go ahead and apply. And it was already too late to apply for seminary. It was starting like the next week, but yet he walked me down to the office and said, we're going to make an exception on her and go ahead and allow her to go in. And then he was just an incredible professor. And he is actually the one who was my ordaining pastor. I was ordained in England, in Scarborough, and Billy is from Northern Ireland, but he came all the way to England to be my pastor, who was there for my ordination. And then we were just real close. And he was one that I could call and just say, okay, I need to talk to you about some things and so forth. So he was powerful. So it was a shame to lose him
Yeah, he passed suddenly
Yeah.
just a few years ago.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I used to, because I also went to Perkins and had him as a professor, and I would go and meet that group of students at La Madeleine. Did you ever do that and go
Oh,
to
yeah.
breakfast?
Yeah.
And so I was a part of that during my time there. Fantastic human being all the way around. I've got a Billy Abraham story, but it's the story. This isn't about me, so I'll keep moving. But that's a fantastic one. Yeah.
Well, this one is not going to be as deep as those for y'all. My father and I shared a infatuation with Anne Margaret. And basically, I wasn't able to meet Anne Margaret, but I sent my money and him to be able to meet her and get a book signed. Actually, 2 books signed for us. And so I've always thought that she was an incredible singer, an incredible actress, and so I would love to have her there because of those things, and also the sharing of that with my father. So
That's neat.
That's good. That's a good one. Mine would be well, it's tough to choose. I had 2 excellent grandfathers, just amazing characters, individuals, close to both of them. But I think with the mix I've already got going, of Dr. Jim Pedger and an author, my maternal grandfather would be the one that I would have to invite to that setting. I think he would enjoy. He was a quiet but very smart, very wise person. Very quiet. He would enjoy listening to that conversation and being a part. He would just sit and smile and enjoy. So that's who. And he's one of those special people that even if you didn't have a lot to say, but you were just in his presence, it was a good time. And I like that. So
That's neat. Just think of all the people that have poured into our lives.
yes, definitely.
I know. Like, I'm sure you've thought of like 5 more,
Yeah.
10 more. Yeah,
I've
me
got a
too.
big table.
Yeah.
I can have more as long as
Yeah.
I'm not cooking.
Except for your chocolate cake, right?
Yes,
chocolate
I
cake.
can make chocolate cake.
Okay.
I'm really good at chocolate cake.
All right.
Well, I hate to brag.
We'll
but
prove it.
I did at the staff luncheon the other
Oh,
day.
no, and I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's okay. We ate your share. So.
Nice. Okay. So she went through 3, right?
Yes, she
Okay.
did.
She
I
did.
just want to make sure I was keeping track. So at your funeral, what song are they playing to sum up your life?
Oh, to sum up my life?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know about sum up my life, but, and now I've got to remember the title of it. But I want it played at my funeral. It's Nicole C. Mullins, and it's my tribute, but then it goes into, is it Redeemer? It's kind of a double song, and it's a praising God and just, recognizing who God is and so forth. And I wish I had the hymnal here. I'd read you the words, but you can sing it. Or Paul probably knows it.
That one I don't
My
know.
tribute?
I don't. You said that the other
To
day.
God
and
be
I,
the glory.
Oh, okay.
To God
Okay.
be
The
the glory.
glory.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
it.
that's a
it.
good
I didn't know that was
That's
the
a good
name
one.
of it. Okay.
Yeah,
I learned something today.
That's it. But in our hymnal, it didn't have the whole song, but all the words are just powerful. But may I turn that around and ask you also?
Well, and Grant knows this, but you don't know this, and that is that there's
Do I get to just say it?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's Amazing Grace played on a bagpipe. Yeah. That's his answer. Yeah.
And my wife says that I can't have bagpipes at my funeral because I'm not
A firefighter?
a firefighter or a first responder or from that part of the world.
Oh, I have a solution.
And
Let's
so-
go join some rural
Volunteer. Well, I'll help you out because I am a chaplain for our fire department. So
okay, there we go.
We'll count that as
Okay.
close enough for you.
Hey, I love
Yeah,
it. I love
yeah,
it.
We can get that done.
Yeah.
It's a great song though. And,
Oh, and especially on bagpipes.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
my response to that is, why do we have to wait for you to die?
Yeah, because you want to enjoy it. I think we should have funerals,
To
sooner.
celebrate.
Yeah, just to celebrate.
To celebrate.
Maybe kind of like birthday parties, but
Yeah.
Well, something that I did as a teacher,
I agree,
is that as a video professional, we have to make funeral videos all the time and everything like that. And so in one of my classes, I had 20 kids make my funeral video.
Oh, wow.
And I gave them all the pictures. I gave them all the criteria and everything like that. And I still have those. And it's kind of creepy to kind of go watch them right now, So it's what they thought of me,
Well, but maybe we should make our funeral videos of us giving the message that we would want to give if it were our last time, and that group of people, our family and friends that loved us, the words that we want to share with them, and just make that video that could be played. And actually, I'm thinking right now, I'm getting off track.
I like it. Go for it.
I did a funeral for an incredible man, Dr. Glenn Clark, who was the dentist there in Cedar Hill from a long time ago. And he passed away, I guess, about 2 years ago in November. And we had been doing recordings for our church anyway during COVID, where we would do these 10 at 10s. And he had done a couple of them, and he had been fascinated with the Holy Spirit and had gone in and really studied in Scripture about the Holy Spirit, all the Scriptures about it, and just really digging. And so his 10 at 10 one time was talking about the Holy Spirit, and was such a powerful witness and testimony of the Holy Spirit. And so when he passed away suddenly, then for his funeral played a clip from his 10 at 10 of him talking about the Holy Spirit. And it was so powerful because, you want the funeral to honor the person, but Christian funerals really are to celebrate God and praise God for that person's life and point back to God. And it was just this beautiful example of him, sharing his faith.
I wonder, and I don't know if you've been to the Holocaust Museum in Dallas, but they have AI basically of people that have passed that were part of the Holocaust, and you can ask them questions, and they answer them. Now, it's certain questions, but it basically they will answer them back, and it's kind of like that's where we're going.
Wow!
And so those people are going to literally live forever at the Holocaust Museum. And I wonder if we're ever going to get into that, where you are presenting your own funeral, if you will.
Yeah. But the only problem with that's AI really giving the answer rather than what that person's.
Well, they spent what they told they spent like a month or so asking them questions.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's their answer.
Okay.
And that's why you have to have certain questions.
Gotcha.
So it can't be, here's your 35 questions or whatever that you can ask. But then you ask them, and then they answer it. It's almost like you're having a conversation with this person.
Good.
And it's woo, talk about higher level kind of thing,
Yeah, that's neat. Well, and I do think for older people, especially since we have the technology right now, that for... well, maybe not just older people, but for people to tell their stories and to be recorded. Because, I think right now I would love to go back to my grandparents and be able to say, so what was it like, when you were growing up, or during the Depression, or, during the war, to be able to ask them those questions. And we wait till they're gone and we miss out on that. So
if I had time and the resources, I would bring in the saints of our church and sit them down right here and ask them about their faith and their life and have it recorded so it's there.
Yeah.
Because you're right. What you wouldn't give to hear your grandmother, your grandfather share about their faith, tell that story, to hear the timbre of their voice and see, the corners of their smiles. And, it would be powerful. There aren't enough hours in the day for us to do that, but Paul and I have certainly talked about that.
Yeah.
It's one of my biggest regrets is that I literally have several questions that I'd written out for my father, and he passed before I got to sit down with him with a camera. And it's kind of like I did not know. He grew up in Weatherford, Texas, and I did not know until almost the end of his life that he was ostracized as a school-age child, because that's when World War II was happening, and Bielss is a German name, and I did not put it all together until he started telling me these stories, and I wish I had them
Wow.
on camera.
Wow.
Yeah. If money was no object, what car would you be driving?
See, that's a good question for you. Let's see. What car would I be driving?
One with 4 wheels, and it doesn't break
She
down.
likes cars.
I do. I'm just not very good at them. Something very comfortable. I guess I would probably, this isn't super fancy, but a Mercedes or a Lexus or something with all the gadgets. It has to have, this is a criteria, it has to have heated seats. So, but I'd like all the other fun stuff too. And it has to be a color that does not show dirt in Texas.
I need seated heats. I don't want it to look dirty.
I just got a new truck about a year ago, and it's the first time I've had heated seats and also air conditioned seats. So yes, but it also has marriage control. Okay, and marriage control is basically the
Two different
temperatures. Yes, and so we don't have to fight over it when we're driving down the road or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, the first time I had heated seats, and I know they were here in America before then, but my cars didn't have them. But the first time I had it was in England. And so when I left England to come back to America, I was so sad to leave my car that had heated seats. And
That's funny.
Yeah.
But your car has heated seats.
It does. It does. I just want to make sure that I keep it. I'm cold. Not right now.
Yeah.
It is Texas. It is September. So.
Well, fall just started.
That's true.
Will have started.
Yeah, back into the time thing.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, but which car? Because you know much more about cars. I'll let you pick out my car for me.
He sends me pictures when he sees a car that he likes. He sends me a picture of that car. Hey, look at this one. Hey, look at this one.
Yeah,
He's just walking down the road, and he goes, oh, "Look what I saw today."
Yeah.
I can tell you which one I would not have. Would
Okay.
you like to know that?
That's interesting. Yeah.
Okay. I would not have the Tesla truck. I think that's the ugliest. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but
If they drive that, I don't care.
it reminds me of those trash cans that have the metal thing at the top that swings.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I see one, I just think, that is so ugly.
Someone said it looks like what we used to make Pinewood Derbies.
Yeah.
It's a Pinewood Derby car is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Would not.
Yeah.
No.
Me either. You don't have to worry about that one.
Okay, good. And see, somebody was probably going to give me one, and now they're not going to give it to me. So, yeah.
I'll stop there. I won't say anything.
So Grant, what is it?
What is the car?
See, we're supposed to be interviewing her.
Oh, but
not,
you're picking out the car for me.
Oh, for you.
Yes. I'm letting you pick out the car.
Well, I feel like I have to say, here's what I have to say out of personal obligations. BMW of Grapevine is an incredible dealership.
And Jared does a great job. I love Jared.
Best manager, any
wow.
dealership in the country.
I knew where that was going.
Beautiful facility. Everybody there is super nice. Wonderful place. I'm sure they could find you the most perfect car with the heated seats
And the color that
the
doesn't
color
show
that you
dirt.
would want, that shows dirt or doesn't show dirt or just looks like dirt. I don't know. They can help you. But if you can't find something under Jared's help there at BMW dealership, Jared Richardson, tell him I sent you. Then a Lexus. I love Toyota company. I think Lexus is a great way to go. It's still within the Sewell family, so
That's true.
The BMW of Grapevine is a Sewell dealership, and so Sewell Lexus. That's what I would say.
Well, and
Probably
actually,
go-
I had
yeah.
a Lexus for a while, and I loved it. It was wonderful.
I have an old one, 30-year-old Lexus. I love it. Yeah,
Cool.
love that car. That's not my main car, but yeah, I've been driving it a little bit more lately, and I love it. So yeah, that's what I would say for Keva. That's what I would do. But start start at the BMW dealership
Okay.
and then see where you go.
All right.
And that
I'll
goes
do
for you too, dear listener. BMW of Grapevine.
Jared.
Go see Jared. All right. Mountains or beach?
Ooh, I love them both, but can I pick a cliff looking out over the ocean?
Nice.
that-
Clever. So
Now-
it's both?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Great answer.
That's not the way that question's supposed to be done, but very, very well done. Very well
know.
done.
I like that.
Yeah.
It just shows your creativity. And then you can appreciate all of nature.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because I want to be running the hills and the mountains, but I want to be looking out on the ocean.
Okay.
So, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably go mountains.
Okay.
I love the mountains. So,
All right.
yeah.
What's the last book you read?
Jojo Moyes, Someone Else's Shoes.
Okay. Do we recommend it?
Yeah, it's a great one. It's kind of a girly one. And actually right now I'm reading another Jojo Moyes, Giver of the Stars. That's a very interesting one. So that's
All
about
right.
back during the time of the Depression and the libraries that were taken through the Kentucky hills by women on backs of mules to deliver books to different places. But it's just fascinating. A lot of the characters are just really expressed really well and built out so that you really have a good feeling for it all. So
On the backs of mules. Mm-hmm. Should have gone to BMW of Grapevine. Ask for Jared. Tell him I sent you.
if only.
All right. What's the last movie that you watched?
Oh. You know how you watch them and you go, I'm going to remember this, and then you forget it. Oh, actually, it was Reagan.
Okay.
okay.
I'd gone over to see The Forge
Okay.
because I'd heard several people say that
That's
was
the Kendrick
really
brother. Yeah, that's the Kendrick brothers.
Yeah, and I'd heard it was really good, and that it was only there for a few days. But by the time I got over there, it was already too far in the show. But Reagan was showing, and that was really good.
Okay. I heard it was really good.
It was a good history for me to kind of go back through all that and go, oh yeah,
That happened. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So that was interesting. What about you?
Last movie I watched a Harry Potter movie with the princess because she was homesick. Which we have watched over and over again. She is obsessed with Harry Potter. I don't remember which one. It's all a blur at this point.
You
but-
don't have the lines memorized?
Oh, I do, but it just, yeah, it all runs together.
Remind me to tell you that there's technically a something you can do with your iPhone, Harry Potter wise, supposedly.
Okay.
Supposedly.
So she's into the Legos, the Harry Potter themed Legos,
Oh.
which she loves Legos and Harry Potter and loves to put together Harry Potter Legos while watching Harry Potter. And yeah, so that's probably what I watched last. What'd you watch last?
Because the lovely Rebecca is not home, I'm watching just stupid TV. So
Predator.
Not quite that bad, but it was some mindless thing, and I go, why did I?
Blazing
even-
Saddles.
That's coming back
That's
to
a
the
classic.
That's coming
It
back
is
to
a
the theater.
classic.
That's
So is-
coming back to the theater.
Wait,
so
2 or 3 weeks from now. I
a
think?
remake or
No,
the
no.
original?
It's the original.
Yeah,
but
because
in
you
the
couldn't
theater.
remake
You couldn't
that.
remake that. No, you could not.
All right, there's a movie coming back to the theaters I want to go see, but I don't know if I can officially say that I don't recommend it. I love it. I don't recommend. Can I say that? Is that fair?
Yeah. We won't
Sha-
hold.
Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, yeah, 25th anniversary.
Yeah.
25th
Yeah.
anniversary of it. Yes.
I think I must have missed it the first time.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
You're fine. Your life is better off. Don't worry about it. Don't Google that.
Yeah.
But Shaun of the
We are not recommending this.
We are not
We are
recommending-
not recommending this.
Instead, go to BMW.
Yes.
Buy a car.
We highly recommend BMW.
That's right.
BMW Grapevine. Go see Jared.
Jared.
Yeah. But yeah, Shaun of the Dead is coming back. I went to go see Run Lola Run because that got remastered and then
Okay.
in movie
That's
theaters.
a sci-fi.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
Um,
Sci-fi late.
that was a few months ago.
Late 80s, early 90s.
Yes,
Okay.
German
Right.
language.
Right.
So that it was cool to see that in theaters, and so I'm interested to see.
But see, you were making fun of me the other day because I said I wanted a 120-inch screen
Yes.
at home.
Yes. I've been to your home.
Well, I know I don't have the size for it now, but
No.
that would just be awesome to have. I mean, you don't need to go to a movie theater anymore.
Well, but you'd have to be far enough away to really see
That's
it
what
all.
I.
and
That's what
too
I said.
big.
That's what I said. And in his house, he already sits kind of close to the TV.
Yeah.
Just the way he has it set up. I'm like, you're not going to be able to see the whole thing at
Yeah, you're
once.
going to be looking at one little spot in the middle. So
And I said that. I was like, what are you going to do? I don't care. I just want one.
I just want it.
Yeah.
so I can say I have it.
That's
too big.
right.
That's what it boils down to, I think. So anyway, so we're going to go see Shaun of the Dead in theaters together.
I bet you Patrick would go with us too.
I'll
Nice.
let-
Oh yeah, his
I'll
son
let you
Patrick.
go.
Have you met his son?
Of course.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
know Patrick. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Longest road trip that you've ever taken?
Road trip? I'm thinking longest road trip.
Or
Well, I
could we
guess-
ask best?
Okay, yeah, either or, best or longest.
How about longest walking trip? Does that count? Or does it have to be like a road trip?
I think we can modify as we go.
pause
Yeah.
The referees need to talk. Can we go to commercial break now? BMW is great fun.
Well, I was going to say I didn't have a BMW to
Yeah.
drive, so
Okay. So
We'll let you modify.
Sure.
Okay.
The judges say
We'll allow it.
We'll allow it.
okay.
okay. Camino de Santiago.
Oh, you did that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tell us
So-
what that is.
That is the walk to Camino. Now I'm trying to remember all the names of everything, but it starts in France and then comes into Spain. And I only did 12 days worth of walking, but I mean there are people that walk for 6 weeks.
and
and
your
it's-
average on those 12 days were how many miles?
Well, the most I did was 22 miles one day
Wow.
because you're walking.
It's a lot.
Yeah, you're walking in the
pictures are
wilderness.
incredible.
Oh yeah, it was just so powerful, and people from all over the world come and do it. It's a pilgrimage
Okay.
because you're going to the cathedral. But that's where St. James' body supposedly is, and people would come from France, and now there's several different routes coming, from Portugal or across Spain or from France and so forth. But the first one starts in France and comes across, goes through the mountains, and then comes through Spain. And you're, every once in a while you'll walk through a city, but most of the time you're walking just in the wilderness. And then you're staying in albergues, which are these places just set out for pilgrims to stay at. For €6 a night, you get a cot or, a little place to sleep.
And so you have and I'll call it a suitcase, basically a backpack. That's it.
You have a backpack. You have.
And you had to have your passport in there if you're crossing, basically into other countries, right?
Well, yeah, but the passport doesn't take up much.
Well,
room.
that's true. I understand, but I'm just
with you there.
I'm thinking out loud here.
It's more the
Yeah.
other stuff. Yeah, but you have 2 sets of clothes: one that you're wearing, and then one that's in your backpack. That when you do finally get to where you're going to stop for the night, then you wash the clothes that you've been walking in all day and put on some clean clothes. You have a meal with all these other pilgrims from all these other countries, and enjoy visiting with them. And then, then the next day you start walking again. And it's just incredible because it's literally just walking and talking to people from all over the world.
Right outside, out of college, I looked at. I didn't do, but I looked at doing something like that on a bicycle. Basically, it was. I want to say it was 6 weeks. Every day you would go to a different village. And it was all on bicycle. And I looked into it. I really wanted to do it, but never happened.
Yeah.
So I understand the thrill of it.
Yeah, it was fun. And my suggestion is you don't do it with somebody else. I've had friends say, "Oh, if you'll go with me, I'll go do it." And it's not one that you do with somebody else, because if you were walking with somebody else, you'd be talking to them the whole time.
Right.
And it's just better just to be on your own and just constantly meeting people.
So in 12 days, how many miles did you make?
I guess it was 135 miles or something like that. Yeah. So and mine was short. I started in Astorga, I think was the name. It was a place in Spain. I didn't start way back. I had gone over to England to write, and I had just had a little bit of time, and I thought, well, if I could have 12 days, then I could start at a certain spot and finish the last part of it, walking into Santiago. And so, but most people walk the whole thing, but they take 6 weeks or a lot longer. So.
And what is the total mileage on it?
The whole thing? Yeah, I'm not quite sure. But, it's normally you're walking about 6 weeks, walking every day. Wow. So there's a great movie called The Way. Have you ever seen that with Martin Sheen?
I've read about it. I've never seen it, but I've read about that.
It is so good. And I'm trying to think, his son's name is Emilio
Estevez.
Okay. So kind of the gist of that movie is that his son goes to walk it and dies. So the father's going to over to Spain to pick up, or to France, to pick up his body, and ends up feeling like, I need to walk it for him since he didn't get to walk it. And so he's walking it, and the people he meets and the experiences and so forth.
And so you are recommending this film. We are not recommending the film that we suggested, but you're recommending.
I am recommending this.
The Way.
The Way with Martin Sheen. Yeah. Excellent movie. Yeah. So it's just one of those powerful things. So, yeah, so that's my road trip without a BMW. So.
Nice. What's the longest plane trip that you've ever been in?
Probably, well, I did Australia last year and New Zealand.
That's a 20-hour plane trip?
Well, we flew to Los Angeles. Yeah, so I'm not quite sure. Yeah, but we flew from Australia to Los Angeles and then on back. Yeah, so I think so, probably about that long. But one other time I had flown from India back across, and I'd been in India doing helping with the orphanage that was getting started, and also helping with some pastors there. And right beforehand, I had gotten sick, but didn't want anyone to know that I was sick, because I didn't want them to keep me from being on the airplane, because I did not want to be in a hospital in India, because I already knew how that would go. So got on the plane, did not feel well, and it was a long flight, I think to Holland, and then we had a layover, and then on back to America, and I think it was like, I don't know, 29 hours total, with the layover and everything else, and it was horrible. I mean, it's one thing
with layovers.
Yeah, that was with the layover. Okay. It was horrible to be traveling that long, but especially when you're feeling really, really bad. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So we know that you went to Hawaii to run in a marathon. Have you ever returned to Hawaii?
Yeah, well, that was. I was trying to remember if that was the first or second time.
I'm just what that question came from was from your sermon. What was that? 3 weeks ago,
right?
And you talked about that,
right? And actually, I guess that was my first time to go to Hawaii. And yes, then I went back.
Yeah. For another marathon, or for just
that one was just with friends.
Okay.
Which island?
Maui.
Maui. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only been to Maui.
Yeah, I've only been to Maui.
Yeah.
But I think we should go check the others out.
It'd be a good pastor's retreat.
It would be.
Yeah.
Y'all have to take me too, right? Y'all have to video it, right?
That's a good argument that you make a compelling case.
That's right.
What other marathons have you run?
I've run 19 of them. So
19?
19. I kept wanting number 20 to be special, and but I've run Dallas several times, Houston several times, Austin, Death Valley. Don't do Death Valley. It's not good.
I'm totally confused on this, but you have to be invited to a lot of these marathons,
No,
right?
the only one you have to qualify for is Boston.
Oh, okay.
But you have to be able to run a certain speed. For instance, depending on your age, you have to have a certain qualifying time.
So a 28-year-old like yourself has to run how fast?
Well, in that case, it's, like 3 hours and something or 2 hours and something. But I'm slow. And I figured out with my best time that I need to keep running until I'm 80 years old. And that way my best time will qualify me when I'm 80 to run the Boston Marathon. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you've got to be moving.
So I have a goal of running also, and that is I want to do a 5K out at Walt Disney World. Okay, but I want to come in last, and the reason I want to come in last is that the last 5 people on the 5Ks at Walt Disney World, characters come out and help you across, and so I want to be one of those people that get the help from the characters to go across.
Cool. So I always get confused about Disney World and Disneyland.
Land is California, world is Florida.
Okay, so my nephew's family was just out in California at Disneyland doing those races. Their son, Keegan, is the youngest heart transplant. At a week old, he had a heart transplant.
Oof.
And has had some other challenges since then. But his mother, Maddie, and his father, Gray, are runners. And Maddie pushes him. And that was one of the places that Keegan wanted to go for his birthday. His birthday was on the 12th, and he wanted to go to Disneyland. And so they ran the race, and she does triathlons too, pulling him in the boat and everything else. But she ran with him through that. And
that's awesome.
He loved the characters.
Yeah.
That was just fabulous.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's say we've already talked a little bit about the changing weather. It's a cold winter's night. You have nothing planned. What are you looking forward to doing that night? Maybe even a little bit of sleet's coming down, so the roads are maybe a little bit iffy. What are you going to do?
Well, I'm not going to do a fireplace, but I'd love to be around a fireplace with friends and just chatting and talking and having fun with friends.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
That sounds good to me. And then
That's a
go
good
snow
answer.
skiing afterwards, can we? I guess not here in
Sure. Well,
not here
we
in
didn't
Dallas,
say
but-
where you were, so okay.
All right.
I said sleet. Maybe it's snow coming down. It's
Okay.
beautiful outside.
Snow. It's Breckenridge, Colorado.
It's Breckenridge, Colorado.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
there with family and friends.
So
Yeah.
I take it you're a skier? Is that what you're saying? So are we talking double diamonds, or are we talking just...
I can do black. Yeah,
okay,
I can do
okay.
diamonds.
I'm not allowed-
double diamonds. But
back in my day, I could do double diamonds, but because of my knees, my doctor has said that I can still ski, but I'm restricted to greens only now. So
well, I can roll down
There's
double
only
diamonds.
there's only one good knee on this side of the table.
Oh, I've had knee surgery before, but you never let anything slow you down. And if nothing else,
Many things have slowed me down. Many things.
mini.
if nothing else, go buy a BMW.
There you go. Exactly.
Where?
The ultimate driving machine.
Which one should we
BMW
go to?
Grapevine. Sewell. Go see Jared Richardson. Yeah. That poor guy. I'm going to have to warn him. We talked about him on the podcast. He's going to ask me to stop. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned running, and we know that you write books. Are there any other hobbies that you enjoy?
Reading, movies, writing.
All right.
So, I don't know.
Snow skiing.
Snow
Snow
skiing,
skiing.
water skiing,
Water skiing,
golf.
golf. What do you not do? That's an easier. You don't cook.
I don't
Yeah.
cook.
Cake?
Yeah.
Let them eat cake.
Let them eat cake. Perfect answer.
Yeah.
That's right. I like for people to invite me to go out to eat. Does that count? Is it a hobby?
Great. I think so.
It
depends on how many people ask.
Judges will allow it.
I mean, that's my hobby.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you noticed, but yeah, I've made a hobby out of that. Yeah, I realize like when multiple restaurants around here, the wait staff know me by name, then yeah, this must be a hobby of mine.
Yeah, I wondered about that. Every time we walk into a place, they're all like, Grant!
He's like Norm from Cheers.
I know.
Yeah. Actually, funny. Well, I mean, we don't have time to share this, but a friend that I've made through my hobby of going out to restaurants, he does. There's a waiter at Kirby's who he does video production, and I was showing him some of our stuff.
Trying to replace me? Is that what it is?
No, he's going to come hang out with us tomorrow, or he will have hung out with us last week, and just wants to talk about our stuff, give a couple of pointers and an outsider's perspective. I thought it'd be a great conversation, and
Bring it on.
he's excited to come and see what we're doing. So
Cool. You never know who you'll meet.
Exactly. You never know. Never know. Well, I'm out of questions, and I think we're out of time.
I think so.
But I really enjoyed getting to know a little bit more about you and getting to share that with all of them. Thank you for being brave and letting us pick your brain. You are so interesting. You do so many different things, and
nothing well, but just spread yourself out.
No.
How many compliments? I've heard all kinds of compliments from your preaching already. So you are a fantastic preacher. If you haven't had an opportunity to come and hear her, please
go to our YouTube channel.
Definitely
like and subscribe, and watch the videos of Keva preaching. Yeah, I've watched that last one, the one that you did with very little warning, a couple of times now. So fantastic. You're just great at everything that you do, and we're very blessed to have you here. Well, to all of our listeners, we're going to try a new sign-off this week. And since I mentioned him earlier, so we're going to do a rotation of quotes that means something to us. So we'll be crowdsourcing those from the people here at the table, sharing little tidbits of wisdom. And since I've mentioned him twice, 2 weeks in a row, I'll give a Dr. Jim Pledger quote. He used to say to me, and this in the context was applying to church ministry, but I think this works for a lot of areas of life. You can have success, or you can have control, but you won't have both. So choose one. That's something I have to remind myself a lot. So I leave that with you. Ponder that. You can have success or control, but you can't have both. So choose one. Ponder that in your life today as you're driving around in your car or doing some cleaning or going for a walk. And we'd love to have a conversation with you about that or anything that we discussed. If you need someone to pray with you, please give us a call. We hope to see you soon. Have a great day.